Yesterday it came down. Jeffrey Lurie sold 8% of the Eagles. 8% of the Eagles. So the Eagles are now valued at $8.3 billion. He bought the team in 1994 for $185 million. That's a hell of a return on your investment, huh? It's now worth $8.3 billion 30 years later. But 8%, I got my calculator out this morning. 8% of $8.3 billion is a cool $664 million. All right, so more on that coming up in a second, because there are some rumors of a potential dome stadium perhaps on the horizon. But Jeffrey Lurie, since he bought the team in 1994, I remember initially he was very out in the public. He was shaking hands in parking lots. He was really taking over for Norman Brayman. He was very popular. Norman Brayman literally bought the team, got it off Leonard Toews, who was dead broke, bought the team for nothing. He was a used car dealer or a car dealer, and Norman Brayman didn't sign Reggie White, didn't believe in free agency, pretty much let every great player of the Eagles leave. And he saved the team from moving to Phoenix, but he was a terrible, terrible owner. Everybody hated him. He sells the team to Jeffrey Lurie. And Jeffrey Lurie comes in right away and he's like, all right, well, I want to win Super Bowls. And he modeled this franchise after the San Francisco 49ers. He wanted the West Coast offense. He hired Ray Rhodes. He hired John Gruden to be the offensive coordinator. You could see that he knew he was doing right off the bat. And it took a couple of years, and he had some failures, I'm sure. But then he hired Andy Reid in 1999. And really, since then, this has been one of the best franchises in the National Football League. Now, it took them a while to win a Super Bowl, but they were in a Super Bowl in 2004. They came close to going to other Super Bowls, and then finally broke through in 2017. Back 5 years later with another Super Bowl appearance that they nearly won. And now you look at this team right now and where they are very much poised to go back to the Super Bowl. And it may not happen. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how the team's going to play down the stretch. There's still a lot of things that need to happen for the Eagles to win another Super Bowl. But make no mistake about it, they're in position every year to be a team that can win the Super Bowl. And that's because of the organization that Jeffrey Lurie has set up. He is an elite owner. Jeffrey Lurie is a great owner. For a long time, he got crapped on. He made the gold standard comment because he thought that his team was the gold standard of the NFL. Well, you really should win a Super Bowl before you start talking about being a gold standard, right? But the Eagles are a great elite franchise. And just look at the successes of the team. Which brings me to the Dallas Cowboys. If you remember in the offseason, during the season this year, they were crying poor. They wouldn't re-sign Dak Prescott to the long-term contract until they signed him to the long-term contract and paid him a lot more money than they would have. They would have just paid him a year or two ago. They did the same thing with CeeDee Lamb. They're going to do the same thing with Micah Parsons. But having Dak Prescott on a franchise tag or a one-year contract, his cap number was huge. So they said, oh, well, we don't have enough money to sign him. Well, you do, but that's just your excuse. So yesterday, Stephen Jones, Jerry's son, and he's the executive vice president of the team. Really, he's the guy that wipes off Jerry's glasses when he's wearing his glasses and they get smudged. If you remember the Monday Night Football where he just handed him the glasses and he wiped them off. And he had said yesterday that they are more or less going to be poor again, cap poor again in 2025. Let me pull up exactly what he said here. And Tyler put it up there on the screen. But so they have the owners' meetings down there right now. They're actually in Dallas or in Irving, Texas. So Stephen Jones says, I think we knew we were going to have a challenge in 24 and 25. It's going to be really, really tight. We still have some money left over from the guys who are not here today, and you're going to have some other guys that won't be here in the future that's still going to have their cap count. So they're already putting it out there. Oh, it's going to be really tight like it was this year. I couldn't imagine being a Cowboys fan. The salary cap is the biggest bunch of baloney in sports. The NFL salary cap is literally crap. It's not a cap, it's crap. Yes, there's a salary cap. Yes, it ensures that you probably can't sign every player that you want. But when you give big signing bonuses and you pay up front, and then you're able to spread that number over the course of 5, 6, 7 years, the player never sees the end of those contracts. The contracts get ripped up, and then they redo the contracts. Howie Roseman isn't a genius. Jeffrey Lurie just pays big time money out in advance so they can space out those numbers over the salary cap. And they've been doing this for years. The Eagles have been doing this for years because Jeffrey Lurie spends money. They don't want to spend money in Dallas. Jerry Jones, how cheap is this dude? You think about this. The Cowboys are the highest valued franchise in sports, more than the Yankees, more than any other franchise. Look at the LA Dodgers. Look at the Yankees. Look at the money they're spending. The Dodgers are spending in the 300s for a baseball team. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, middle of the road, not signing big money free agents. They could very easily add to the team, like Derrick Henry. Jerry Jones, adamant. Oh, well, we didn't have the money to sign Derrick Henry. The Ravens gave Derrick Henry $9 million guaranteed. They gave Ezekiel Elliott $3 million guaranteed, and the guy sucks. He's cooked. And all they had to do with Derrick Henry, all right, maybe you're tight on the cap. All right, well, you give him a 5-year contract and you space the number out over 5 years, and then you rip it up. It is unbelievable that the Cowboys continue to operate like this. And not a lot of owners operate like this. If you want good players, you can sign good players. How many players on the Eagles are star players? Look at the offensive line. Everybody's getting paid except guys on their rookie contracts or Mekhi Becton, who's making a nice 1-year contract, by the way. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert's on a big contract. Jalen Hurts is on a big contract. They've been paying these guys out for years. Jeffrey Lurie just keeps writing big checks because when you're an owner in the NFL, you make big money. His franchise is worth $8.3 billion. He just sold 8% of his franchise for $664 million. So anytime that you're feeling bad about the Eagles or you're frustrated with the Eagles because they have sometimes they have kind of this internal turmoil that can happen. Jeffrey Lurie's the best owner, and we have good owners in this city. John Middleton's a great owner. Comcast with the Flyers, maybe not so much. I know we don't like Josh Harris, but Jeffrey Lurie, man, we're lucky to have Jeffrey Lurie as the owner of the Eagles. So just another reminder today with Stephen Jones, or yesterday with Stephen Jones coming out complaining about how the Cowboys don't have money to spend on their team next year.